Thank you so much for watching my video. Today I have a really simple project for you. We're going to be making a little storage bag to keep our plastic grocery bags. As you can see, this doesn't take a lot of different materials. I have a tea towel here. It's got a nice pretty aqua stripe. I love all things aqua. So I've got a pretty tea towel and a piece of elastic. That's pretty much going to be it. Right here, we're going to be sewing the top of the tea towel over just maybe an 1.5 inches, 2 inches. These measurements are very flexible. And I'm going to just start sewing that on one of the short ends of the tea towel. And I'm going to fold it over to make a little casing that we're actually going to run our line through. I'm not doing this super close to the edge because the edge of the tea towel is folded over and has more bulk. So I'm sewing it a little bit in so that it's a little bit easier to go through my machine. I always back stitch at the beginning and end of my projects, make sure that it's just nice and secure. If you're going to take the time to do something, you want to make sure that it's going to last through the usage. So there we go. Both of our sides are folded over. Now our next step is we're actually going to take this and put right sides together. So the pretty side of the tea towel you want facing each other, and the wrong side you're going to do out. You're not going to sew over that little loop that we created, but you're going to sew down the long sides of the tea towel together. Again, starting about 1.5 inches away from the end that we just sewed. And you're going to see why later we're not going to sew all the way to that top. So on your way down, this is a very beginner project. It's just straight stitches. You really can even mess up a few times and not really see it. Once the stitches are sewn, they're going to be on the inside of this little garbage bag, so it's going to be just a perfect, easy beginner project. I got this towel from a thrift store, but many of the Dollar Tree dish towels are super easy to use and could be used as well. Now you're going to see the bottom of my towel doesn't line up quite perfectly, so that's okay. Even if you're a beginner and this happens to you, we are not going to worry about it. We're going to fold that over and make another casing, a little loop to run the elastic through. Just about 1.5 inches. We're going to fold this over, and we are going to leave a gap so that we can thread the elastic through. Now this is probably the hardest part. You're going to sew this gap without sewing the piece underneath. You're going to see as I go, I'm going to rotate the piece underneath. I'm going to work in very small sections so that I can sew and then make sure nothing's underneath that I don't want it to catch and go catch the underside of the bag. So just go slow. Again, folding over, making sure nothing's underneath. Sewing just a little bit. Obviously, I did this aqua because everything in my house is aqua, but you could certainly use any color tea towel or any design, no matter what decor style you decorate with. You can certainly find any tea towel. Now this is the elastic I'm going to use. I just eyed about how much elastic I wanted in order for the bags to hold them in. I used 8 inches. You can see me counting up here. I just felt like that was enough to get the bag through, but also tight enough that it wasn't going to let all of the grocery bags fall out the bottom. Here I'm digging out a safety clip. I have several of them. These are my large safety clips. And we're going to use this to thread the elastic through. There are other tools specifically designed for this, but if you want something easy, again, this doesn't take many tools for you to create this. So you can easily just use a simple safety pin, hold that end as you thread it through, We're going to scrunch the fabric and just keep pulling through that little circle, pulling that safety pin that's hooked to the elastic. It's going to get tighter and tighter as we go around, but keep holding on. Don't let that little tail of elastic go. If it does go and you lose control, just pull it out and start again. Again, this is very easy. You can make a couple mistakes on here and no one is ever really going to know. Here we go. So we didn't sew around that entire loop. So we left about 2 inches open so that both of our elastic ends can come out. We're just going to quickly throw those around in a knot. You could sew this. I think knotting it is just a little bit easier and holds very tightly. So now we can go close up where we didn't sew earlier, just that little 2 inches. This is going to be a little bit harder because you can see it's over the edges of the towel, so it is a little bit thicker, but that's okay. As long as you have a good needle on your machine and you go slow, I'm just going to slowly pull and help the fabric feed under the feed dogs. It's going to just go slowly right over there. Make sure you aren't sewing through what you want on the back. Going to finish it off with a back stitch. This would make a great project for a beginner. It's cheap. You can go to the Dollar Tree and pick up a towel and some elastic, only a couple dollars. This would make a great gift, a housewarming gift. I'm personally going to use this in my house. I've wanted one for a while. So now that you've got the elastic on there, go ahead and turn it inside out. And it's looking like that long tube. It's going to be perfect. I love those stripes on there. Turn it completely inside out. You've got the elastic at one end, and you'll see the other end is open. So that's our final step. We've got our casing. We didn't sew right up to the edge. We're going to trim off these threads. And then for this next step, I had some cording left over from some ornaments, but for the hanger, you can use twine, you can use some yarn, some rope. I had this white cording, and I'm going to grab about 20 inches of it. Not a super exact. If you have somewhere that you want to hang it, you can always measure that exactly how much you want extra. I'm going to use that same safety pin. Just stick it in there. It's a little bit looser. And this is much longer than the elastic, so it's going to be a little bit easier to thread through. Just slowly working your way through. Very few times I've had the safety pin actually open while I'm threading it through, and you can poke yourself that way, so just be aware of that. You don't want to get it poking through. But how easy was that? We're going to take that rope off the end of there. Just a simple knot is going to go on the end of here. There we go. Tighten that knot up. I'm going to pull it tight. Oh, cute. And that can open so your hand can stuff the bags down in there, and you can cinch it closed when you're done. Just going to trim that all up, and next come the bags. We're going to go ahead and use these garbage bags. I have a bunch of them from, or I should say grocery bags. I use them for garbage bags around Publix and Walmart, lots of different places. I have a whole stash of them usually. There you go. Cinch it up and you are good to go. They pull out nicely from the bottom with that elastic holds it in there. Here it is hanging in my kitchen. How cute is that? Thanks for watching.